Hey, what's up and welcome back to Interpreting the Stars, where today we are bringing it back to our XMen series rewatch of films with Deadpool 2. Now, if you saw my review for Deadpool 1, you know that for the most part I prefer 2 over 1, and there's a variety of reasons why, some technical, some personal, but the main idea here is that I didn't like that it didn't feel new to me. It didn't feel fresh or unique or original. The Deadpool character did, and that's fine and dandy. He is a hilarious character, and Ryan Reynolds does a fantastic job in that role. However, a character is only as good as the story that they are in. And the story itself revolved around a revenge plot and an origin story, and neither of which really felt that original, like I said. I've always liked the second part better because I did consider it to be a stronger story overall. This time around, the plot of the film revolves around Terminator 2 because you have Deadpool who has to protect a child from a cybernetic organism that is trying to kill him. A cybernetic organism, by the way, who came from the future. And some other stuff happens, so what's the positives to be found in this movie? As I said before, I think as a whole the movie is stronger than the first in a variety of different areas. The main thing I definitely loved more so than the first one was the inclusion of the X-Force, was the inclusion of Cable. It allowed for more characters to come front and center and to kind of be fleshed out as characters, to be well-rounded, instead of just kind of being in the background as Deadpool took center stage. It definitely felt more like a well-rounded film with all these characters coming into their own, having their own importance into the plot of the film. And I loved all of these characters. All of these characters felt unique, they felt interesting, they felt perfectly casted, if that's a thing. Everybody felt like they were born to play these roles. I also thought that the comedic timing in this film was a lot better than the first film. That probably has more to do with the story itself than it does the comedy itself, because comedy is just like a character. It's only as good as the story that it's involved in. Ryan Reynolds kills it again as Deadpool. I love that Josh Brolin is in this film as Cable, and I love the fact that they do make a Thanos joke in it. The music choices in this film stand out more as perfect choices, more so than the first film. The overall message and tone when it comes down to what family is to one person over the other is pretty much prevalent in this film. It's not exactly a deep or meaningful story, however, it's probably more deep and meaningful than the first film. But what about some negatives that you can find in this movie? Well, first and foremost, the pacing in this film is a little bit wonky. On one hand, I think it's really nicely paced and I love the flow of it. On the other hand, I can't tell who the main character is other than Deadpool, because every single character is trying to do something and finds value in doing it. One person's trying to save the kid, one person's trying to kill the kid's trying to do something all on his own. Even Colossus is trying to do something. Deadpool has his own personal stake in everything, but so does everybody else. Everybody has a personal stake into what's going on in this movie. And it starts to make me think that there's no antagonist in this movie because there's no one character that's specifically designed to be against the goal of any other character. There just seems to be a bunch of other individual protagonists instead, because there's a ton of characters that have their own importance to the plot. They're all trying to do something else. That helps with character development, but that does not help with story development. So even though I don't really think that it somewhat feels convoluted. At the end of the day, that's really the only negative that I have to say about the movie, because there's a ton of stuff that they did in this movie that I think was perfect, and just some things that could have been better. But honestly, not a lot that's actually bad. It just has that slight issue when it comes down to the pacing. My original score for this movie was 90%, and I can tell you that it has gone up to 93%. Why? Because from what I could tell, when I look back at my old review, the comedy didn't always work for me. It was touch and go when I first saw it. This time, though, I thought it was more or less comedic gold. I don't know if it's because it's a double viewing. I don't know if it's because I saw Once Upon a Deadpool, which was the PG-13 version of Deadpool 2, and it didn't really work that well for me. I'm not really sure, but I definitely rated it higher because of the comedy for the most part. Guys, tell me what you thought of Deadpool 2 in the comments down below. And as for YouTube, you know what to do. Subscribe to me, hit that like button, hit the bell to be notified when I come out with my next review. And until then, peace out.